To say that the benefits of minimalism can be summed up in just a few sentences would just be a massive understatement. Well, I've mentioned in the past that minimalism and the pursuit of less is more of a mindset than anything else. It's helped me mold and create a sort of set of rules that I've given myself to live by, to live more intentional, freely, and most importantly, happier. These rules I've given myself have helped funnel my time and energy into places that I deem necessary. Because why should our time go anywhere else? Before I get into it, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism and more recently, mental clarity. So if that sounds good to you and you end up liking the video, be sure to like and consider subscribing. Now, let's get started. I'm gonna share these laws of minimalism that I've given myself to live by. Remember, this isn't a one-size-fits-all lifestyle, so feel free to abide by these as loosely or as strictly as you like. Number 1, the rule of intentionality. Something I've become notorious for, at least in my own mind, is preaching about the importance of our time and how we spend it. Something minimalism is widely known for is the idea of owning less, deciding less, and sometimes doing less. In my own experience, putting more thought into what I allow in my life has allowed for more mental clarity and less headache. The rule of intentionality that I've given myself is pretty simple. Have clear and hopefully good reasons for doing something. And yes, it sounds super obvious, but hear me out. I've brought in so many things into my life that have consumed a lot of time, money, and energy without me getting much out of it. Just a little more thought into why I do something can really go a long way. Being intentional means I do everything with clear purpose and reasoning, once again separating the trivial many from the vital few. It means practicing boundaries for myself. I've talked about this before, but it is very important to me. Saying no to the unnecessary and saying no without feeling guilty for saying no. Respecting my own time and effort the same way I would respect somebody else's. Something I've dealt with in the past and I found very frustrating was when I would make a commitment to something I really didn't want to do. Being more exclusive with my time has led me to never find myself in these situations. I think a lot of us feel like we have to do something or we have to be somewhere because of the expectations set by somebody else. It used to feel impossible to say no to something because I absolutely had to do it, because I was told it was the right thing to do, regardless of how I felt about it. Being intentional also means not making spontaneous purchases just to experience the short-term happiness. And arguably the most important for me, being intentional means making my goal or goals as clear as possible. And right now, for me, that's just becoming a better filmmaker and better storyteller. Now, the second rule here is minimizing priorities. One of the very first videos I made on this channel was going over the idea of minimizing the amount of things you have to do and cutting back on multitasking. Essentially, the idea of having a single priority over multiple priorities. Interesting fact, the word priority didn't even have a plural form until 500 years after its creation. This goes hand in hand with the rule of intentionality because for me, I see the greatest results in output when I'm focused on one single task or one single priority. Especially when it's something I'm excited about. When I'm juggling more than one task at a time, the quality of all of them inevitably suffer to some degree. Maybe it's my own problem for having such a short attention span, but if I have more than one even moderately difficult things to do, I just get overwhelmed and I can't do it well. Again, maybe my own problem. I've made it a point to keep the word priority singular and try my best to avoid multitasking ever since. And there is a common misconception out there that being incredibly busy and multitasking equals success and productivity. And I suspect that's why a lot of us bite off just a little bit more than we can chew. I believe part of the blame can be attributed to the hustle culture popular today, but maybe it's been going on a while and we are just now realizing it. It's only natural we want to seem successful in the eyes of our peers, so we take on more work than we can actually handle to seem like we're doing well or being productive. Or at least I did this for a time. Keeping this word priority singular has led me to not feel like I'm being pulled in multiple different directions, thus yielding better results in my areas of focus. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems to be more of a thing in the United States than everywhere else. I've never really traveled too far out of the country yet, so I'm curious if this is prominent elsewhere. And I think there are a few easy solutions to minimizing priorities. My favorite and the most effective was learning to say no. Learning to say no even if it was uncomfortable. Learning to say no if it maybe even came off mean. I didn't want to take on another priority if one was already on my plate. Learning to say no created a sense of self-respect for myself and, more importantly, my own time and efforts. Keeping the word priority singular has definitely helped me get more work done and help me focus on the things I deem absolutely necessary, only the essentials. And the last one here is become rich in experiences. And I feel particularly strong about this one when I think about my life moving forward. I can definitely attribute minimalism for granting me the ability to think clearly and just identify what I want to do moving forward. I've spent so much time in my life inside of my comfort zone, inside the endless loop of buying things again and again, never really understanding why I wasn't feeling fulfilled or satisfied. Something I've wanted to do for the past 10 years or so was travel, and travel far. I've always told myself that there would be a much more convenient time to do it, whether I had less responsibilities, more money, or just more flexibility with my life. I put off these plans for traveling quite literally for years until I felt like I had enough money, or I just really had the means to do it, I guess. My money was just in this cycle of buying things and throwing them away and buying new versions of whatever I just got rid of. And therefore, it never really found its way to where I actually wanted it to go. I can say that minimalism is directly responsible for helping me pursue these dreams of actually traveling, even if it's much later than I've wanted to do it. Minimalism has preached the idea of experiencing things and traveling more for a very long time, but I'm only recently seeing this clearly. I have this one life, and at the end of it, whatever I own won't matter. So I want to make sure my time here is spent seeing and doing as much as possible. So I can thank minimalism for helping me see that now. Anyways, those were just a few rules that have kind of come along with minimalism that have helped me just identify the path in front of me and see it a little more clearly. Again, I only speak through my experiences and what I plan on doing, and I hope that you can gain some inspiration or value out of that. But anyways, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. If you did get some value out of this and you do like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.